Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We are going to begin tonight with some breaking news, and it is a bombshell. Tonight, the third highest-ranking Republican in the U.S. House, Liz Cheney, is breaking with her party, saying she will vote to impeach President Trump tomorrow because she says there has, quote, never been a greater betrayal by a president of his office and oath. Now, Cheney's decision will no doubt open the floodgates for Republicans, all but assuring that Mr. Trump will become the only president to be impeached twice. At the same time tonight, federal agents say the investigation into Wednesday's assault has become extensive and fast-moving. CBS News has learned FBI headquarters was warned the day before the attack that supporters of President Trump were planning what they called a war. Now, that bulletin, written by an FBI field office in Virginia, laid out specific threats, including that, quote, Congress needs to hear glass breaking and doors being kicked in. Well, investigators are now pouring through more than 100,000 digital videos and other evidence while rounding up and charging 70 people across the country so far. Now, for his part, the president is showing no remorse, refusing to take any responsibility for inciting Wednesday's violent riots and calling a second impeachment a witch hunt. Well, we've got a lot of new reporting on all of this tonight. We've got our team standing by to cover it all. CBS's Nancy Cordes is going to lead off our coverage tonight from Capitol Hill. Good evening, Nancy. What a series of events.
It sure is, Nora. Congresswoman Liz Cheney is a member of Republican leadership, and so her support for impeachment is sure to influence others, as will this news from the Senate's Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who has reportedly told associates that impeachment could help his party get past President Trump. First, though, tonight the House is voting to urge the use of the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from office right away. House members on the verge tonight of casting an unprecedented vote, calling on Vice President Pence, quote, to declare what is obvious to a horrified nation, that the president is unable to successfully discharge the duties and powers of his office.
Can you imagine any other president in our history encouraging and fomenting mob violence?
In a virtual debate earlier today, Republicans didn't argue that the president is fit for office.
It was a horrific day.
Instead, they said Democrats are just kicking Mr. Trump on his way out the door.
You won the presidency. You have a controlling vote in the Senate. You have a majority in the House. Why continue this?
Traveling in Texas, President Trump said his vice president would never push him out.
The 25th Amendment is of zero risk to me, but will come back to haunt Joe Biden.
But he likely won't avoid being impeached for a second time tomorrow. And this time, a smattering of Republicans will vote yes, including the third-ranking Republican in the House, Liz Cheney of Wyoming, who said the president could have immediately and forcefully intervened to stop the violence. He did not. Many members tell us they are still shaken by last week's events. California's Norma Torres recounted a 27-second call with her son.
All I could say, sweetheart, I'm okay. I'm running for my life.
At least 3 of her Democratic colleagues have now tested positive for COVID after sheltering in a secure room last week with nearly a dozen House Republicans who refused to wear masks.
It's more than arrogance. It's more than contempt. It is, a desire to cause injury to others.
And so there is a new rule for tonight's vote. Any member who does not wear a mask on the House floor will be fined $500 for the first offense, $2,500 for the second offense, to be deducted directly from their pay, because this has been a problem, Nora, for nearly a year now.
That crackdown as the coronavirus spreads. Thank you, Nancy.